What do you have an extremely strong opinion on that is ultimately unimportant. Suspenders and belts don't need to be worn together, ever. Freaking watermelon eating contests. I've never been in one myself, and I never would. Why sign up for such a goddamn sham? It's not an eating contest at all. They should at least be honest and call it a slam and grind your face against a watermelon as hard and fast as you can contest. Every time. The winner is just some butthole who just pushed his face against the melon so that it all breaks apart and liquefies and falls to the floor around him. Meanwhile, there's always another contestant sitting beside the winner who was a good honest upstanding citizen, genuinely trying to eat it and was about 5 bites in. And you can just see his naive faith in humanity being shattered in the dumbfounded look on his face as a judge lords this butthole next to him who just splattered his watermelon all over the floor. And if it isn't bad enough that the charlatans running these operations allow this to happen, the crowds all cheer and oh and I and share videos online where more people continue to comment about how crazy awesome it is someone could eat so fast. Jesus Christ, open your eyes sheeple. Upvote for such a passionate speech. I've seen watermelon seed spitting contests, but never a watermelon eating contest. Keep fighting the good fight. Don't include an option to upload a resume if you're going to force the applicant to manually type in all the information on the resume anyways. Holy crap, I hate this so much. Especially when it pulls the info from your resume but it fricks it all up so it takes you longer to fix it than it would have to just type it all in the first place. I'm ultimately faster at walking than most people I know, and I always get dirty looks for trying to overtake people on a path. We should have fast walk lanes. In Beauty and the Beast, Gaston has a line during a song and he says he ate 4 dozen eggs as a kid. That's 48 eggs. How is that not talked about? No wounds. Tall as Gaston. Or his balls like Gaston. No one's fart smelt the paint off the walls like Gaston. The flying Koopa Troopers are not ducks with shells, as my wife asserts, but turtles with wings. The flying Koopa Troopers are not flying Koopa Troopers, as you assert, but Koopa Paratroopers. I am adamant that when you close a plastic or Ziploc bag, there should be no air inside. When I see people close a bag with lots of air inside it makes me very unsettled. But the air protects my Doritos. Cookies and cream filled Oreos. Like Oreos are already cookies with cream. I know it tastes different but it irks me every time I see them mentioned and I don't know why. Oreo flavored Oreos my favorite. Websites that automatically sign you up for their crap spam list. Just don't assume that I am interested in every little update from you for the lifetime just because once I made a mistake of using your site for 2 minutes. Now they ask for Chrome notifications. B. Google dragged me here because no one else has what I want. I don't want your crappy clickbait on my desktop all the time. I barely put up with it for Facebook, and I kind of like Facebook. You toss off. Parents who let their kid kick the back of a seat at a sporting event or performance movie should be jailed. You forgot airplane seats. Why do you have to register for dang near fuckage everything now? I had to register to GoPro's app just so I could use the goddamn camera. And pretty much everything else these days too asks for you to register. News site, register pop up before you can read the article, frick you. So they can aggregate user data and sell it on ad exchanges as an audience. Disney's Cars universe makes 0 sense. It's just not possible for living cars to build a society like that. It's ridiculous. And don't give me that cop-out theory about it being post-apocalypse either. Bunk. How do they reproduce? Build tiny components with wheel hands? Do they die? Where is their brain? Why do they have doors? They do die. In the first Cars movie, the old Model T looking car has a dead husband. The dishes in my house should be placed so they take up the least amount of space. Apparently the rest of the household likes to think otherwise. Why the frick does satellite radio have mother fricking commercials? What the heck am I paying you guys for? That really grinds my gears. And I'm also paying to hear every mother fricking curse word in every mother fricking song. I fricking paid for that. B. Frick the plastic packaging that's hard to remove. I remember buying some scissors a few years ago and they were so hard to remove. My old scissors could barely cut through that plastic. By the end of it, my hand had cuts. When the radio station says 1 hour of non-stop music and then talks about random crap after every effing song. When the radio station says 1 hour of non-stop music and then interrupts their 1 hour of non-stop music by talking about 1 hour of non-stop music. So-called king-size candy bars. I don't know who decided that a king would be totally fine with slightly more candy and that's it. What royalty would really say, you know what? I'm feeling luxurious. I think today is a day for 4 Reese's cups and 2 slightly smaller Snickers bars. If you want to call something king size, it should be at least an entire pound of candy. It infuriates me that real kings everywhere haven't stood together in the face of the Hershey Corporation trying to dictate their desires. The last Harry Potter movie ended with Harry breaking the Elder Wand and throwing it off a bridge, which is not what happened in the book. He didn't even fix his own wand first. Why would they do this to me personally? People who cannot queue. I had an experience with someone who tried to cut a line one morning, and I called them out even though I was like 15 people back. They kept on trying to ignore me, so I got louder and louder until it was impossible to pretend like they didn't hear me. It was probably awkward enough for every single person there, and my adrenaline was up after. People should let all the passengers off of an elevator before boarding. Same with trains. Those who want to get out. I've been pushed in by those getting in while I struggled to get out but couldn't. I've had to get off at the next station, go back 1 station to get down where I intended to. Indian Metro is freaking scary. Pianos should be tuned at least once per year, even if they are not played regularly. Otherwise, the strings become brittle and the tuning pins unresponsive to holding the pitch firmly in place. And please, for the love of God, rent a violin from the violin shop for $20 a month instead of trying to bring your $90 eBay violin to lessons. $90 pose models are incapable of holding their tuning and will only frustrate you, especially if you're a beginner. Peacocks, butthole pigeons in drag, think they're so freaking special. I was pecked as a child. I, too, was traumatized by a peacock as a child. It was chasing me around a garden until it got distracted by its reflection in a mirror and stopped to attack that instead, lol. If you're the mayor of a city town, you should live in the fricking place. The mayor of my city lives a city over. How the frick can you decide what's best for the community if you're not even a part of it? The mayor of Tijuana lives in San Diego and says everything is fine. B. You live in San Diego. Pockets in women's clothing. Sewn shut all the time, and even if you open them they're still tiny. Completely impractical. It's all a marketing ploy to force women to buy purses since we have nowhere else to put our phone, wallet, and keys. My girlfriend just bought a dress that has really deep pockets. She looked so happy when she tried it on and discovered the pockets, like she'd just gotten the best news or a raise or something. Every construction site on which a new building is being built should have a sign facing the street that tells folks what that building will be when it is completed. And over here, somewhere in Europe, they do because the law makes them put up a sign detailing the building company, amount of floors on the building, purpose of building, rendered picture of building, chief engineer for the project, as well as estimated date of completion. I don't agree with teaching children stupid names for their body parts. I sometimes think people out there think that if their child ever learns the word vulva they will go around trying to screw anything that moves. People often treat the true names for genitalia and such like swear words, and sometimes I worry that this will give children unhealthy feelings and views on their body and orientation when they are old enough to have views and feelings. I don't think children knowing the proper terms takes away their childhood, or make them, as I said before, more promiscuous or anything. I just think stupid nicknames are weird, needless and kind of creepy. I think it's especially screwed up when you can't use the word, in right situation and right context, to another adult as an adult. Telemarketing should be illegal. It's annoying. It's basically harassment. Getting 3-4 phone calls at 9 AM on your free Friday is not a fun way to wake up. And no, I don't want to buy the healing power of crystals for a real good price. I have reached a point where I just don't answer my phone if the number isn't saved in my phone book or is hidden. I suffer from mild anxiety and I feel bad after I just close the call. I've moved beyond the politeness point where you say no almost infinitely. I shouldn't feel bad, because most telemarketers are just glad they don't have to waste their time. but I still feel guilty. The thing is that if you're expecting an important phone call and accidentally answer a telemarketer instead, then your number seems to move up in their list. Like bright red alerts go off in their system. We found a dipshit who answered. Let's all bombard that number, because once you answer the number once, you start getting 3-4 calls a day for weeks. Frick telemarketing. How Seinfeld responds S4E3. Seinfeld, OG, I can't talk right now. Why don't you give me your home number and I'll call you back later. Operator, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Seinfeld, oh, I guess you don't want people calling you at home. Operator, no. Seinfeld, well, now you how I feel. If you live in a country that drives on the right hand side of the road, you should keep right on the footpath. Allows for overtaking and less congested paths. It's frustrating how many people don't get this, especially using stairs at a bus or train station. 30 people coming up the stairs. Take both sides. The 5 of us that want to go down are like fish running against the stream. I get very irritated at expensive houses for sale if the kitchen does not have a range hood. It's worse when they do, but the exhaust for it is above the range, still in the kitchen. The point of it is to get smoke out of the kitchen, not circulate it. The bite-sized candy bars you get at Halloween are freaking balls. I don't know who the smarmy don doing the marketing for Mars is, but they have some freaking balls calling them fun size. What in the name of frick is fun about less candy? And it's not just that, either. The freaking things are individually wrapped and come in a bigger plastic bag. So not only are they made out of balls and lies, but they're also a garbage apocalypse. Fellow ladies, for frick's sake, please don't hover when you use a public toilet. In your awkward attempt to not get butt cancer from a once dry toilet seat, you left a smattering of pee for the next person to either clean up or unwittingly sit in. Also, people who leave about half a roll of TP in the bowl without flushing. What the heck is wrong with you? I don't like using the word dongle in everyday out loud speech. Leaving a flyer on someone's windshield or on their door should be considered littering, and the person company who placed it there should be responsible liable. CDs should be ordered primarily alphabetically by artist, secondarily by release date. This is ultimately unimportant and has becomes less important every year. The door to access the toilets in bars, restaurants, etc. should open outwards. Maybe it's just a UK thing, but after I've washed and dried my hands, I have to use a handle that must be covered in residue from hundreds of people that haven't washed their hands. Why not just put the hinges the other way round? Pisses me off every time. Adding to public restrooms, there shouldn't be a 2-inch gap between the door and wall. I don't want people peeking in at me while taking a crap. Right now there's an advert on TV advertising Boots summer range. The annoying part is the song choice, a reworking of Wizard's Christmas classic. I wish it could be Christmas every day to make it about summer. Why the frick would you use a song that everyone recognizes from the first 2 notes and knows is about Christmas to advertise your summer range? There are hundreds of songs you could have used, but you've picked one of the ones most associated with another season to try and advertise your summer range. Not only that, but you butcher it with a dodgy cover artist who isn't as enthusiastic as the original, and generally have put in the most minimal effort possible. It's like using an image of the Easter Bunny to advertise Halloween. It just doesn't work and sends entirely the wrong message. Plus, I liked that song when it was about Christmas, and now it's been genericized. I know the song's been in hundreds of commercials, but those were Christmas commercials, and a song like that should be kept as is. There's no reason to make it about summer, and it annoys me that they have. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I strongly support you feeling this way. If you're using a shared microwave, clear the time off of it when you're done. There should be a federal law that if a manufacturer puts a sticker on a product, that sticker must be easily removed by the consumer with no residue left. It's pronounced and spelled sawzall. My wife insists on calling it saw. I've gotten angry to the point where I stopped talking to her for an hour. This is ultimately one of the dumbest things I get annoyed by. Sirens should be illegal to play on radio commercials. I can't count the number of times I've mistaken them for 4 actual sirens and started looking around to see where they're coming from. Yes, and the dang car horns in commercials too. Pay to win has ruined the online gaming experience for sports games. Pay to win ruins everything it touches. Tuna is tuna. Don't call it tunafish. Sharknado is not a so bad it's good movie. What makes a movie so bad that it's good is that the people making it thought what they were making was good. They thought the choices they were making were good choices. But they weren't good choices. They were bad. Even laughably so. The reason The Room is so bad it's good is partly from the absurdity that the director thought his choices were genuinely good even though they were so bad. My point is, they have to have the intent of making a good movie for a movie to be so bad it's good. The people who made Sharknado knew it was bad. They were purposefully trying to make it bad. They were trying to manufacture a movie like Troll 2 or Birdemic, but you can't manufacture something like that on purpose. They tried to recreate it with Birdemic 2 and it didn't work. You can't fake something like that. We're pregnant, as said by every newly expectant couple. No, we are not pregnant. She is pregnant. We are expecting. Fingernails on a blackboard. That one. People who make fun of overweight people working out are quite literally the worst kind of people. Radio commercials should be banned from having any car sounds, honking, crash noises, sirens. Too many times I've looked to see who is honking and then I realize it's the ad. You have been visited by the ingenious Joe. Comment brain so you always see the glass half full. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.